Good morning. Welcome to this range of webinars we have from Telerex Benelux. My name is Yves Bastiaens. I'm a sales manager of Telerex Belgium. Very welcome to this very first Telerex technical webinar we are arranging on a monthly basis. So standard, we will have half an hour presentator and then 15 minutes Q&A session. You will see in your right-hand screen the Q&A section. Can I kindly ask you to put there your questions while Rudolf is presenting, and then in the last 15 minutes I will go together with Rudolf through the questions so we can answer these questions in that section at the end of the webinar. So Rudolf, let me introduce you. Thank you very much for the willingness to do the very first webinar of the Telerex Technical Tech webinars we are organizing on a monthly basis. Rudolf is responsible head of cable assembly and technologies at ODU International, and he will explain to you why the ODU fiber optic technology is so new and what the advantages are for you as a customer. Rudolf, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yves. Good morning from my side. I want to give you some look into our products and specifically into one very special technology in terms of fiber optic connectivity solutions. First of all, I want to start with a short video before I start my presentation, which gives you a little outlook in what's coming next.
Why is the job of a fiber optic cleaner so enjoyable?
Well, the work is super time-consuming and also very demanding. And above all, if I didn't do it, it would break immediately. This way, I always have something to do, and I get to take a lot of accessories with me.
How secure is the job for the future?
Well, between us, as long as the employer doesn't realize that the expanded beam performance from ODU doesn't need to be cleaned and that it performs at its best. Just imagine, 12 lenses under 0.15 dB attenuation. Well, I think I'm safe for now.
First of all, you see different technologies, like you know the physical contact technology from all the products out there in the market. That means everything which is connected does go in touch on the front end with the fiber end, which is polished in different ways, like an APC or a PC polished solution. We also know polymer optical fibers, like the plastic optical fibers, which is in principle the same technology. It is being touching on the front end, on the ferrule, and then transmits the signal. But this is based on a very specific plastic material. But then we come to the point on having much more robust products, like we talk about expanded beam solutions. Basically, you know the ball lens systems. I think there is a lot of products out there in the market which provides you with a ball lens system. It means the fiber optic fiber is being attached on the back end to a ball lens and widens up the beam to transmit the signal via air gap in the other side of the contact system, on the second side being back transmitted onto the fiber. And then I will jump immediately to the, let's say, more performance product, like we call it expanded beam performance. So what does it mean? Expanded beam performance is a very specific ferrule. Within that ferrule, which is tiny small, we do have 12 lenses, 12 individual lenses implemented for multi and single mode solutions. We do still have a expanded beam based on the expanded beam technology. That means we do have an air gap in between the two lens systems, ferrule systems, which allows us that very, very robust, let's say, usage for no cleaning, and specifically very less influence on air dust on the specific fibers. So we do have that technology built into the AMCT connector system, which is a very robust connector system, specifically made for military market, but also we use it for the medical market with a very small shell size 9, using the lens system inside the interface based on the 12 fibers. This connector system is based on 5,000 mating cycles. We qualified it through a very big program on qualifications like vibration testing, sand and dust testing, and so on. Here we do have an IP6K 9K rated connector solution. We have multiple O-rings or tightening rings inside the interface, keeping it away from any dust or water effectiveness on the inside. And we do have a mechanical and a visible color keying on the front end of the connector. Specifically on this connector series, we do have a bigger size 12 made for the naval systems with a marine brass housing solution to withstand very high salt spray test performances. But that's a specific solution made for the naval systems. So next up, it's the well-known mini snap push-pull connector system, where we also implemented the insert of expanded beam performance. That means which also uses the 12 fibers with multi and single mode. Here also we have 5,000 mating cycles over lifetime and an IP68 rated connector system. It's even the smallest solution within our portfolio by an outer diameter of 16.2 millimeters. So next up, we call it ODU MediSnap, which is our main driving medical connector system, where we implemented the same insert with 2,000 mating cycles based on 12 fibers again. It's the same insert, which is the lightest connector system at all, with a mechanical keying, and this is implemented in a push-pull solution. Based on an outer diameter of 18.5 millimeters. More the usage is more in the medical field, but anyway, if the people are requiring a thread lock connector system, we also could go with a Series T connector where they have the thread lock connector system. For the, maybe you know our product Series ODU Mac, we have a module made for the white line and silver line connector system. And here we have 50,000 mating cycles. So here you see already how far we can go with the interface. The interface itself is rated for 50,000 mating cycles. That is the only limitation is the connector around it. And here for this module, we do have 24 fiber channels per module because we have 2 cavities in that module. So this is something you know from the market, I guess. There is several connector systems, thread lock, push pull, and so on, where everything is based on MT solutions. There is several MT solutions available in the market. There is an MT solution with a lens and also the classical standard Elite ferrule solution available in that market, built in that harsh environment connector systems. And this is based on that what we want to go forward. We have plans for 2025, even for higher amounts of fibers. For the shell size 9 on the left side, you see this will come with a 24 fiber solution. And on the shell size 12 will come up to 48 fiber insert. Shell size 14 will come up to 72 fibers, and the shell size 16 will come up to 96 fibers. This is all based on a modular insert you see on the below row. We can click those insert together and add several expanded beam performance ferrules However, we want to mix them in a connector. We even could go and customize connector. For example, when we do hybrid connectors, we can say we use 4 fiber EBP ferrules and then combine that with, for example, 2 or 4 power contacts within one connector system. When we compare that system together with those already shown solutions in the market, then you see the difference. For example, here on the multimode solution, we use an OM4 multimode fiber type. We see we have a specification for the insertion loss on the multimode for a typical 0.15 dB, and for the return loss on a typical value by 45 dB. In comparison to classical MT solutions, this is, let's say, a big difference. But the most important thing for us and for our market, for our customers, is mating cycles. Expanded beam performance is rated for 50,000 mating cycles. And this is a big difference, I would say, because on the classical, anyway, on not only MT, but also LC or SC and on all the other MTP connectors, for example, we see a limitation on mating cycles due to the reason that we have the dust in the front end. We have a small area where the fibers are touching the front end, and here this could gain scratches, and by instant this is a limitation on the specification on that insert. You see a picture on the below where we compare an MT ferrule against an EBP ferrule in terms of size. So here you see also the density of the small form factor of the expanded beam performance ferrule. We say it's not to be cleaned at all. For sure, it depends on the situation, on how it's been used, but this is always the same. I show you later on some video and some information on how that can be cleaned if in very robust cases this is needed. But first of all, also I have a comparison between that common market solutions on the single mode. Even for the single mode, there are not so many products available in the market. But also here with expanded beam performance, you can see the difference on the insertion loss. We talk about a typical value of 0.35 dB, and in the return loss, it's even better than the multimodal solution, which is 60 dB in the return loss, which is very good. Also here, the same mating cycle performance. When we compare it to standard solutions, we are having 250 or 500 mating cycles, which is drastically performance jump. So some tests we did. The most important ones, I think we have made several testings also for specific customers when they wanted to see specific tests, but I cannot show them here. But basically, as a standard qualification, we have made for sure mating cycle testings on all the different products, on the different connectors, but started by the insert, which is rated for 50,000 cycles. We do have made the test for the matings with all the connectors with the insert inside. Also, we did thermal cycling testing for -65 degrees to +105 degrees on the expanded beam performance insert. We have made sand and dust, specific sand and dust and mud application testing. Some testings here, they are not out of any standard test, which is given in the different ISC or MIL or AR testings. But here, we really wanted to see how far we could go with that product, making the product or the interface really dirty, really dusty, and we tested them out and to see how far we can go until this interface will break. For vibration testing, we have tested vibration to 30G peak on the expanded beam performance solution with the Series T here. We also have seen gunfire tests from big customers. They already have designed in our products for 100G and beyond. I cannot show it here because it's a custom test, but it still will go on with testings and do further testing in the next year. For humidity testing, we have also done several tests for 10 degrees centigrade plus 65 and 100% humidity according to TIA 455. So specific parameters, specific testing, but furthermore testings have been done with customers in relationship. But this is just an outlook to this. So I hope I can start this video here.
I believe that was not good. It doesn't matter. It is the expanded beam performance of ODU.
What we did is we did sand and dust testing. That means we shaped in the dust and the sand into the interface, but we also put the interface into the mud, real mud in the bucket, and did some different testings. What you see here is a graph where we did testings with the dust application. That means we shaked in the dust and cleaned it with, for example, only water. You see the light blue curve. Only water cleaning means we put the interface in the water bucket and we just washed it out, and then we connected it back to the receptacle. And here you see the results here on the light blue curve. We did the test, I think, 10 times or so, and even more than we have not seen any broken or even higher insertion loss values between all the 12 lenses. We also did it with mud. You see it with the yellow curve. We put that the interface into the mud bucket, and here also we washed it out only with water, and then we cleaned it up with isopropanol. And here we also saw no jump then higher than 0.1 dB in insertion loss. If this will happen, and if you need required cleaning information on very let's say dirty situations, we do have cleaning accessories with the portfolio coming. So you can order that from us, or you can use standard accessories like cleaning alcohol or the sticks, the small sticks to clean it up. And we also do have videos for showing on how it has to be cleaned in such cases. But in general, if it's a normal use case with a standard plug connection system in the standard application, you don't have to clean the connector system at all. So for people or for customers who are using that market solutions which are at the moment in usage, they have inspection tools like the Sumix Manta, for example. There is also some other inspection tools from, for example, Viavi. Here, the people think they still want to look into the interface and see if the front end from the fiber is clean or is scratched. For sure, we say this is not needed because you don't have to clean the connector system. But for all those people that have a problem, they still want to see it, they want to check it by the inspection and so on. We have created a exclusive expanded beam performance adapter for the Sumix Manta inspection device. This can be screwed on, and you see on the top picture on the right-hand side the 12 different lenses, and you can check it out if there is some dust or debris on the lens itself. For the moment, there is no standard testing procedure implemented in the Sumix Manta. This will be coming, I think, next year in 2025. Also to have a standard procedure on testing to say to let the system and the software finding out which lens is okay or not okay according to standard test parameters. You might be thinking, yeah, this is nice to have a connector system which is good for harsh environment solutions, no cleaning and so on and so on. But on the other hand, you have always an interface connector on the other side. For example, you have an MTP connector, or you have an LC connector, or you have SC connectors whatsoever, but this will be always connected to transceivers. So sure, when you have a transceiver, a classical transceiver, you have still the same topic. You have a physical contact solution where you can have a dust or scratches on top of the fiber end. And here we think it's good to have an overall solution saying, yes, we will also provide customers with fiber optic transceivers. What does it mean? It is standard transceivers where we have the expanded beam performance interface on the front end. This is called expanded beam optical push-pull connector. What does it mean? When you see such cable assembly like here on the left side, you see the ODU Series T connector on expanded beam performance. And on the right-hand side, you see the EBO push-pull connector. And this will be plugged into a ODU transceiver with different protocols. We have started with 3 different types on 400G and 2 types 400G and 1 type 100G. What is the big difference here? It helps you also for all the dust topic and the cleaning topic on the interface side. Does not make sense, in my opinion, having a very robust connector, and in case you disconnect or connect again the interface connector on the transceiver side, if you have any damage here, you have the problem on the whole assembly. So therefore, for me, it makes sense to have the overall solution, the overall light path being robust, being not to be cleaned. And here, this could be a solution to have also a transceiver solution where no maintenance is necessary here. Same thing, not same thing on the cleaning, but we will also have solutions for midboard or onboard transceiver. We have a cooperation running with the company Semtech. What does it mean? These are specific midboard or onboard transceivers for the board optic solution. This will be coming with ODU robust expanded beam performance connectors and then assembled on the Firefly products. The Firefly product is a solution from the company Semtech, which provides different specific transceivers with heatsink and so on for the onboard optics. And here we will have ready solution by 2025, including the Firefly transceivers on the cable on the ODU expanded beam connector on the other side. For all the colleagues or people here which are related to military applications, we have a cooperation running with the company Solifos. Solifos is a Switzerland company who provides cable drum solution, specific cable drum solution for the military market. Different drums, steel drums, plastic drums, and also the backpack NATO drum. Here we will come up with expanded beam performance solution by also next year. These are used in drone systems, rocket system, radar systems, and also specific switches, where in all the technical field are cable drums and this solution is needed. And here it makes only sense being designed in on a device where for sure also the infrastructure, like all the drums and all the cables out there in the market, has been changed to expanded beam performance, to also have that mating connector in the field available on the specific cable drums. And therefore we have started this cooperation to come up with all the cable drum solution and also other solutions here for the specific tactical interface for the military market. So basically that was a brief introduction on expanded beam performance, and I think I'm happy now to answer there. I've seen there was some questions coming in to answer the questions from all the people.
Yes, Rudolf, thank you very much. That was a nice overview of this new technology. I received in the background 2 questions, actually 3 to be honest. And then I see that we have Yi Ying who has asked the specific one. I would like to ask this question first before the three other ones from the customers. Mr. Yi Ying is asking, can ODU offer their EPB solution to be integrated into our sensors? It means that there is no traditional physical contact in the whole optical link.
To be honest, I don't know actually on how the sensor look like. We are not, what I can say, we are not selling only the ferrule or only the ferrule itself, the interface itself. But for sure, we could think about on having a standard assembly being created for customers where we can integrate the sensors on the other side. I think this needs to be checked out by a specific project where you can, let's say, contact us and we can double check if it's possible to have the fibers from the second side assembled to ODU expanded beam performance on the other side onto the sensors because we need to find out on how the sensor look like and if it's possible to attach them, because fibers on the EVP are not glued in or something. They are bonded with a specific machine, which requires then more project work together to find out if it's possible or not. But I would say basically everything is possible. We just need to find a way on how to do it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just typing in. So if he wants to connect to us, I can transfer his technical data questions directly to you. I'm just typing in my email address. So
yeah,
it doesn't work for one reason or another. How it works. Europe.com. Voila. Okay, then there was another question regarding the cleaning. It was more of a general question asking what is the exact reason why this product does not need to be cleaned?
Yeah, basically
you're mentioning in your presentation that you can be clean. You can clean the connection, but it's a bit of a grayish area, I think, the cleaning. Is it really needed? How fast or on what is it depending that you need to be cleaning?
It depends. Basically, it depends on the quality of the signal when you have a connection, and if you disconnected the connector, depending on the surrounding. For sure, is it's a dusty surrounding area. It blows in the sand in the front end of the interface. If you forgot to put on the air cap on the front end, it will be dirty. But then normally you blow it out, or you have specific, let's say, blowing out accessories, and then you connect it again. That's it normally. If it's very, very, let's say, robust, I would say maybe in the military market, you disconnect the connector, you throw it really in the mud, and they look horrible afterwards. This is not the normal usage and also not the normal use case. But it will happen. It will happen, and they are asking for, hey, does the connector system withstand this harsh, let's say, dirty situation? We are saying yes, it will withstand the situation in most of cases, and then you can even clean the connector again. So you wash it out with water, and then you clean it with isopropyl. We're not saying this is the use case. We're not saying this is always possible and it is always, let's say, being alive afterwards. But we say yes, on a connector system like this, it's able to be cleaned and it's able to bring it back to life after cleaning. It's not destroyed. This is what we're saying. And therefore, we have accessories, we have specific cleaning materials which we offer from the website, and also we have the videos on the website on how to do it. But in normal usage, no cleaning is necessary.
Okay, good. There was another one which I got last week saying, does ODU only sell the connectors, or do you sell the cable assembly with the connectors, or can you buy the pieces separately? Can you buy the connectors separately and we use our own fiber optic cables?
Yeah, this is a clear answer here, because I think it's related also to the other question with the sensors.
Yeah.
We are not really selling the ferrule or the contact system itself, because this would require real long development process on how to do it on a very specific machine, which is even very expensive, and therefore the process development on this technology, it took us about 5 years to be there where we are, and to say any customer can assemble the ferrule itself by themselves and whatsoever. This makes no sense at all, because there is no benefit. So customer only will struggle, and we say it's the best thing when ODU assembles the whole thing together to even provide it for a long time reason and bring in really good quality to the market. So therefore, for specific applications, when we need a sensor attached to it because it's needed, then we need to start a project together. We could customize it and we could start a project together with a specific application. Yes. But in general, we are not selling only the fiber connectors and also not the ferrule system.
Okay, I understand. All right. Since you were saying you were approximately developing the solution or the technology for 5 years, if I understood you well.
Yeah.
I was asked, I think a couple of months ago, since your technology roadmap was rather long, how long has this been in the market, and what is the feedback from your customers using the technology? You have already customers who came back and say, look, and are you into your design 2.0 mode, or are you still in the first design mode?
So we launched the product at about 2021. Beforehand, the first launch happened with the Series T connector on the size 12. It's just the bigger size as we have right now, because we further developed the smaller sizes and brought it also to other connector series. But at that time, when we launched it to the market, we gained very high interest from specifically medical and military customers, well-known customers. I cannot say the names here, but they did start all the testing and designed us in. There was one first customer in Switzerland who immediately designed us in and did the testing and approved us with the testing. We are announced approved from the Danish Defense, for example. We are approved from the Italian Navy. We will be come into big projects from German military companies where we are designed in. We know we are designed in, and it now starts coming into volume. Yeah, we provided samples, we tested, but I think also here in the audience there are a lot of people from that markets where all of us know that a design from the design in point to a high volume, let's say ramp up, it is not. It takes a little time, specifically in the market, military and medical. It's the same here. For the medical, we were, for example, very impressed that we have been designed in quickly within a year on 4 different customers with robotic systems on the surgery, specifically in Europe and also in US. And it's a very high impact on us, where we do a lot of marketing right now to even make the portfolio bigger as it is, because it's very successful.
Okay, Rudolf. If I go, let me go through the list on the Q&A. I think we have answered, or you have answered, all the questions, so we can wrap it up. Say, well, as at least from my side, from the Telerex Benelux organization, thank you very much for attending. Rudolf, thank you very much for sharing the technology, and hope to see you next year back with us in the Telerex Technical Talk webinars, probably with another presentation. Very interesting. Thank you very much. Have a nice working day.
Thank you to all of you.
Bye.
Have a good day.